Greetings. How are you doing, our listeners? We've done a few episodes now. SME Unleashed. This is Edwin Obonyo from Strathmore Centre of Value Investing.
And this is Raymond Mutura from the Centre for Research on Work and Family.
Raymond is back after a big sabbatical. He had told us he had to go to the village and see how the crops are.
No, I was actually seeing how the SMEs are. Because I have been I was in Bomet to see one of our businesses. One of the weeks I was not here. Then I was in Uganda seeing one of our agri-family businesses again. And then I had to travel to Addis to see many potential family businesses. Then in Tanzania, we also had a forum for family businesses, and one, of course, in Kenya. So that's why I was missing in action.
So it's not crops. You don't go to...
No, crops. Business.
And today we have our wonderful guests with us. One of our alumni of our family business program. Cohort what? Is it 10?
No. This is cohort 5.
5.
Yeah.
His name is Bwana Shaffie. He can do a bit of introduction of who he is.
Yeah, good morning, Stratizens. How do you call it? Stratizens.
Stratizens, but it's not for Strat only. It's for everyone.
It's for everyone. Okay,
Yes.
So I say good morning,
Stratizens
and
the general public.
general public.
General public.
My name is Shaffie Mithwani. I'm the co-owner of Superfast Forwarders and also the second generation, because the business was actually started by my father. Yeah.
Okay. Which cohort was that? Family business.
Cohort 5.
Cohort
We've
5.
already
Yes.
said cohort 5.
Cohort 5.
We're currently on cohort 11. So this is 6 cohorts later. So he's a true alumni.
Asante.
Yes. So we brought him here in today to just share his story, his journey, so that people can get a bit of insights on how family businesses operate and how to move it from first gen to second gen, and then now to third gen. So, Bwana Shaffie, tell us, how did all this begin for you?
I've done a presentation here before. So for some of you, I'll be repeating. I joined the family business in 2002. But earlier on, my stint was in advertising and marketing, which was also my own family business. So I was running the marketing business, and my dad was running the logistics business. So in 2002, when both our businesses had expanded and I needed some help, and at the same time, my father also wanted some help. So I told my dad, please join me, because we have got good clients like Nation Media, Standard Chartered Bank, Total Kenya. And yours is more of, I found it to be very an informal sector. So my dad said, Shaffie, yours is very technology intensive. I will not be able to cope up. I might just become like a vegetable there. So why don't you join me? I have the experience, and since you are young, you can get hold of the reins faster. So in 2002, I sold the marketing business and took the leap in logistics.
To join him to do both, or to join him to do what he was doing?
So join him to do what he was doing. I sold the marketing business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So was the decision simple?
In the beginning, it looked simple, yeah. But when I came into logistics, it didn't seem like it was my cup of tea, because in marketing, the crowd, the people you meet it's a different breed. You're dealing with the marketing managers, the CEOs, and all that. And here now you're just dealing with ground level. Like you are basically I started as a port clerk from the ground. And now you're dealing with people on the ground. No professionalism at that time. You're talking in 2002.
So back then, what did the port clerk do?
Port clerk, basically, he was more of a document pusher. We would open containers to verify such things. It was very hands-on, manual, It still is, but on a very, it has moved. We have moved, actually.
There are a few more systems nowadays.
Oh, amazing.
From government.
Yes. Yeah, like KRA has done a very good job in professionalizing
the processes.
Yes.
I'm curious about, of course, when we talk about family businesses, what people normally envision is, here's a family business by my father, therefore I get involved in the business, and at some point then I succeed him. So is that the way it was, or you already from the beginning knew I will do something totally different from what my father is doing?
Yes. When I joined, my father was only doing clearance in Nairobi, either ICD or the airport.
ICD stands for
Inland Container Depot. Sorry, listeners. Sorry for the language.
There's no problem.
So Inland Container Depot, and somehow I got documents to clear from Mombasa port. So on a Sunday night, I boarded a bus, landed in Mombasa. I had no idea where the gate of the port is. So when Raymond, this is how we started.
But when your dad was doing the logistics and you were growing up,
yes,
because I'm sure he has done it for several years.
Correct, yes.
Is that something that was there any inkling on interest? Was there any persuasion from him to suggest you should be looking this as a potential business, or it was just
no?
How was it?
No, it was just like at that time it was just he was going to run his show. I was going to run my show. You see, humans, we naturally feel we are going to live forever. It's just there in us somehow.
Yes.
And that's how it was. However, I used to do his accounts.
Okay. So
I used to do his
little something.
Yeah. So
I used to do his bookkeeping on the computer, because he was at that time very scared of computers. He thought he might mess up the entire system itself. But today now, he's a novice in this.
Yeah. Fast forward a bit to your own children.
Yeah.
So how is the setup? Are you seeing that they need to get involved in the business you are setting up, or you have set up with your father? Or is it you're seeing they need to do other things?
Of course, I would love to see my children come on board, but I put some conditions to them, which I feel they are finding it very, it's like a big, huge bottleneck, because I told them to join this business, you need at least 2 to 3 years experience outside. Because if you come and sit on my chair, you will do nothing. Yeah. And preferably in a logistics business. Yeah.
So if they do the 3 years but not in logistics, that doesn't count.
Like my eldest son, he's currently, I mentioned he's doing an internship at a law firm, and he's in the tax division.
Yes.
And at dinner time, there's a lot of now conversations going on about the tax, because I can see he's also handling a bit of customs issues where he is. So then it just came in my mind that yes, it doesn't need to be in a logistics firm. He can pull in the knowledge
of custom tax,
and bring it to Superfast Forwarders, and that can be an asset for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This issue you're bringing is what we've been trying to emphasize to many family businesses, to consider it as a concept of family business constitution, because as a family, you're saying, I need to kind of clearly define how the family gets involved in the business. And it looks like what you have picked from, of course, the setup between yourself and your father is, look, you don't look at this as your business. It is important you get other experiences. And I think that's the same you have picked with your children. I think the only improvement is that you're now a bit clear in defining it and saying, okay, to join this business, at least at a minimum, you must have worked elsewhere.
Yes.
Looking at it as a concept, because a lot of businesses now are family owned. This idea of how to, you could say, involve the children or get the children to see or to earn the possibility of working in the family. How important do you see this as being for the next generations?
Well, of course, Raymond, it is important for them, like if a person, like, for example, I didn't have that, the current generation, let me start that way, is already the Gen Zs.
Yes.
When they come into the business, they just want to come into the C-suite.
Yes.
You see, because the business has grown.
Yes.
It has got employees and all that. So it's very difficult for them to adjust their lifestyle to start from the ground. You see, they just want to come into the managerial role because they have a degree and all that, you see. They feel, how can I say it? The generation feels
entitled.
That's the right word I was looking for. Yeah. So that's the only challenge I'm having. That's the reason I put 2 to 3 years thing, because I know they want to come in the managerial. They don't want to do the groundwork, the hands-on work.
Port clerk.
Yeah.
You're the one who is teaching a lot of Gen Zs. What would you say about this? Entitled.
In fact, we even had that conversation last week in our previous episode, and you'll hear Robert ranted for like 10 minutes. I guess for them, the biggest thing is because they're seeing what is happening across the globe. Then it's kind of making them feel that most people are a certain place. What they're forgetting to see is that it's a very small population. It's a very small population, and that is kind of biasing their view. And so for us as lecturers, we try and tell them to be in terms of being real. So for example, I'll tell them that an average person who's formally employed, the federal, a lot of these employee statistics and employer statistics are there online. And even in Business Daily, they publish it. Around 70% of people who are formally employed earn less than 60,000. So it means only 30% are earning over 60,000. And the reason why we share such details is so that when they go for an interview, they don't think
they'll start at 200.
They'll start at 200 or at 100, right? So we kind of try to force them into reality, but what they are seeing is what has caused that because of that interconnectivity. So I'm here and I can see someone in America or in China and that's what they're thinking, but they're forgetting the world is 8 billion and you're only seeing maybe 0.1%. So that's what's causing the bias. But for me, I guess Shaffie should start by, or go on by saying what Superfast Forwarders does, what it is, or what is the business there.
Superfast Forwarders is a logistics company. We offer clearing and forwarding services. That's customs clearance, whatever cargo comes at the airport, the port, or inland container depot, ICD. We customs clear and deliver to the client. We also have our own transport, like our own trucks. That's transportation. And at the same time, we also have our own warehouses. So basically, the Superfast tagline is the bigger picture. That's when I joined, and I didn't want it to read the number one clearing and forwarding company or something. I would be limiting myself.
Okay.
So I think the tagline, with the help of God, helped me to look at everything broadly. That if I have a client, I don't need 100 clients. I can have only 10. But I kind of add value. I am a one-stop solution for the client. So just like how we used to have the Microsoft 95 and then Windows 10, Windows 11, the versions.
Yeah.
So a very good friend of mine toyed that idea to me that you could develop your business in versions. So version 1 was clearing and forwarding. Version 2 was transport. Version 3 was warehousing.
Well, and you keep adding because it's clearing and forwarding and transport. So version 2.
Yes.
Version 3 becomes clearing and forwarding and transport and
warehousing.
Yeah.
And we also have embarked on version 4, which is international logistics, whereby we pick up the goods from your supplier, from his door, and bring it to your door. That's version 4. I have already have in mind the version 5 and 6, working on version 5, which is customs bonded warehousing.
And what is that?
It's whereby you bring in goods and you don't have the money to pay the tax. So those goods are warehoused. So let's say your tax liability for that consignment is 10 million. And of course, you don't have 10 million with the current times in economy. So let's say you have 1 million. So the entire shipment comes into the warehouse, and then you just collect the goods. The amount of goods you can pay the tax for. Let's say you have 1 million, so you'll collect the goods and pay tax of 1 million.
Okay.
Yeah, and the rest balance of the goods are in customs custody, but the warehouse is ours. So the customs and ourselves are together partners.
That's version 5.
Yeah, version 5.
Wow.
It's coming.
Yeah, I've already applied, and I hope
You can get
people of Kiari are listening in.
that they can help you with. And that's very, very interesting. So you joined in 2002.
Yes.
We're in 2024. That's what, 22 years?
22 years, yes.
22 years.
Yeah.
So 22 years in Superfast Forwarders.
Yes.
How has the journey been, if you look at it since then? Where would you say you are? You learned a lot within those 24 years. What?
I think...
and if you want to categorize it, you can categorize it based on mindset, processes. I don't know that you've gotten into governance yet.
We'll touch on the governance, and you'll teach me on the governance. But the mindset was the growth. The tagline, the bigger picture.
Yes.
2, the mindset was value for the client. And not only the client, but also my team members or the employees. You see, 3 was learning. I need to continuous learning, no stopping. So it's not been easy because I had to learn declaration from day one. Somehow I'm fortunate. I like playing with computer systems and I love software. So putting in systems like QuickBooks and connectivity, networking and all that somehow came naturally to me by grace of God. And then putting in operation systems. So it was very easy. Even when KRA came up with the Simba system in 2005, we were one of the initial ones to
test it.
And it was an amazing system because it made everything so clear, fast. Like before I used to literally type the entries, and then here comes Simba system. You just put your details in a form, and you lodge the custom.
Simba system is KRA.
KRA, yes.
Okay.
It's a KRA custom system.
Custom systems. Currently, we are using integrated customs management system called the ICMS.
Yeah. Let's go a bit about that, because you as a generation 2, you had the mind of growth
Learning.
and systems and processes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, a lot of founders always have very good entrepreneurship. They have an idea. They have a very good concept. But sometimes they find it very difficult to translate it into, okay, let me divide this into tasks. Let me look at systems that are available and put in the system and trust the system. I don't know that you saw this with your founder, but just even if you're speaking generally from the perspective that many founders believe that it is in the head, it is in the mind, therefore I don't need to automate. I'll know what to do. I'll call so-and-so, I'll write to so-and-so. How would you help such founders to, you could say, get out whatever it is they have into a process, how they can change the mindset so that things get into processes? Then you trust the process. Then you trust the employees. How would you help such a founder?
And just to add to this, perhaps as you speak on to that, you can go back and talk about how your transition was like, because it's slightly tied to that.
Yeah.
How did you get in, and was it that smooth?
Well, with my father, it was somehow, I cannot say it was very smooth, because of course we used to have our challenges. And that's also what I learned from Strathmore about the temperaments.
Yeah.
But it's just how the second gen could get into the mind of the founder. And it's, you see, when you're in a family or in a family business, somehow the goals are matching.
You already have the DNA for matching it.
Matching it. You see, who doesn't want growth?
Yeah.
Who doesn't want processes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is just about doing it in a very slow way, and even showing it to them that, look, if I do this, like a small sample, if we do this is how it is going to benefit us. Like one example was in 2007. You see, all our emails used to be in the mail server, right? If you remember. Sorry, I don't know about they used to be in a mail server.
Yes.
And then moving from the mail server in 2007 and putting it on the cloud.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had to have the local infrastructure.
My dad would not trust that my emails
will be safe.
Will be somewhere else. You see, that's one challenge. Like, no, Dad. Anyway, the emails are not, they come into the server, but they're already somewhere else.
Yes.
You see, they would be with Swift Global and all those companies which were there. Yeah, so that was one example.
Yeah.
Two was even moving from our garage to Vision Plaza to a proper office. Because in our garage, we were not paying rent. And I understand my dad's his background is the frugal background.
Yes.
He came from a very scarcity
when
he started, when he was there. But now moving from zero to now you are paying rent. It was very difficult for my father to digest. But then you just come and tell him, look, Dad, okay, doesn't work out, we can always come back. You see, it's not that we are going to... But when we moved, he could see that there was some level of professionalism. We could put in employees, they were walk-in clients. He would, because it was in Vision Plaza, there were importers down, he would talk to them. And he could see, yes, this is helping us. So it's just about getting into their mind, convincing them, showing them the result, and you've got it.
Yeah.
And of course, he has to also have an open mind.
Oh, yes.
Because we know of the situations where the parent has this child who's trying to show them the way, but they're like, this one, we are not going to
It
go
has
this
always been done this way.
way. Yeah, it has always been done this way, and we're not going to change. And even in cases where even your child has an MBA or has a master's, and saying, listen, for this to work, this needs to be done. And they're like, no. Hiyo vitu ya shule, wacha tu uko shule.
Yeah, it is there. It is this the founders currently, the baby boomers whom we call them, they've got that mindset because you see they were employed in a very rigid colonial kind of system. So they're carrying on with that, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's just to tweak it a bit.
Okay, Bwana Shaffie, he was just talking to us a bit about his journey so far, what Superfast Forward does. Superfast Forward does. Yes.
Superfast Forward does.
Oh,
does.
That one. So right now he's just going to talk a bit about how the 24 years has been in terms of the challenges, what has he seen and what has he learned from the last 24 years so that he can share that with our listeners. Shaffie?
One thing what I've learned is in my 24 years, or I don't know, it's that
22.
22 years is maybe it's just with the logisticians. Somehow it made me stay humble. And that has helped, I think, expand, grow our business, because you cannot be a Mr. Know-it-all in logistics. You need your team. You need the external stakeholders, be it Kenya Ports Authority, Kenya Revenue Authority, Kenya Bureau of Standards, and all that. All those people are there, whereby they are ready to teach you also. Like even when I started declaration, of course I would make mistakes, and then there would be people there in KRA telling, no, this one is wrong, you need to kind of change this HS code or something like that, you know. Unfortunately, that avenue is not available anymore because it's in the system. You put it wrong,
it goes wrong.
What is it that you put wrong?
The HS code.
Okay, HS code meaning?
The harmonized systems code. You see, like your watch and your blazer are two different codes in the KRA system.
Okay.
The watch could attract 20% duty, while your blazer attracts 35% duty.
So you have to key in
everything.
Okay.
So if you put it wrongly, there's a penalty for that now.
Oh, before there wasn't.
Before it was. It was manual. So they would tell you, go and change it. Yeah. Go and change, you put the wrong one.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how we learnt on the ground. 2 was
so the first lesson is humility.
Humility. Yes.
You don't know everything.
You don't know everything.
So you need the team.
You need the team.
In your case, you're working a lot with the customs.
Yeah.
So basically, you call it
even our competitors.
Even the competitors.
You know, we are willing to help each other. Like when we were the port clerk, you know, there was the common phrase while we were on the ground. Kuuliza sio ujinga. Yeah.
To ask is not stupidity. For those who don't know Swahili.
Yes.
So that's 1. 2?
2 was trust. Quite a number of times my trust was tested. You see, even when bringing in the first truck in 2005, you filter out the best driver, because before I was used to subcontract. So I used to know all the drivers because, you know, you're keeping in touch with them, where they've reached, have they delivered. So from there you filter out the best driver. And 2000, towards 2005 end, we bought the truck. 2006, around June, the driver and the turn boy disappeared with the truck and the goods were.
And you had filtered the best.
And I'd filtered the best. So you see.
Theft by servant.
Theft by servant, yeah. You see, so. And I had a lot of trust in the driver and the turn boy. And it was like literally betrayed.
That's a big issue nowadays. The theft by servant. It's not just only with, for example, in your case, but it's something that is being seen across many industries as well. Mm-hmm. In fact, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics said that's the biggest issue that most, in terms of theft in last year, that was the biggest. That's what increased the most. Theft by servant, while the rest kind of stayed or reduced. But theft by servant was the leader. So I guess everyone has to be able to see how to navigate that.
Yeah, and also it was a huge lesson for me that I didn't have insurance covers and all that for the goods in transit and such things. Like even there is insurance for theft by servant, you need to have that in place. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a very painful lesson. I wanted to, like, just after that, the incident, I wanted to sell off my truck so I'm able to pay my goods. Client for the goods. Mm. And then here again, the clients come, the friends come into play. Like my father was, that's where the founders come. They're very strong. While for me, I was like all over the place. But yeah, my father says, hold on, Shaffie, there's nothing to worry about. You are not the one who stole the cargo. We'll cross the bridge when we get to it. Yeah, we need to continue forging on. Mm. And then I met a client, Mr. Sajjad, and told me, what is the problem? I said, I'm selling my truck. And he said, okay, how much will you get? 20 million is payable. What will you get? So I said, about 7 million. He said, okay, what about the 13 million? He said, I'll pay slowly. So he said, why don't you pay the 20 million slowly? And buy another truck so you can
get more business
and pay him faster. He said, he used the word, be bullish. Mm. It has gone wrong, push it harder. At that time I was saying, this guy, what's wrong with him? He's
not normal.
He's not normal, man. I'm already when I left his office, it was a lesson learned. And he also told me something very important at that time. He said, Shaffie, what do you think business is? Only making profits? No. Brace yourself for losses as well. They come hand in hand. Mm. Not that the business will always make profits. Sometimes it will even dip. And when it dips, it's either your mistake or you have to analyze what went wrong
and correct
it and move on. That's business. So that's another lesson I learned.
Interesting.
So those are 3 lessons.
Yes. Humility, trust, and theft by servant.
No, that's not the lesson. The lesson is when things get tough.
The tough get going.
Yeah, the tough get going. So that is part of that.
You have to be resilient,
Resilience.
Yeah.
And that those 3 have carried you over the last 22 years?
I think more. Also, I mentioned about learning just before the break. That to overcome challenges, you need to keep learning. You see.
Okay.
I'm very interested in this one of trust. So, of course, you kind of got to learn from the mistrust from your employee. But then how have you then recalibrated yourself to enable yourself to still going back to humility, where you say you have to work with other people, you have to work with employees? How have you recalibrated yourself? Because I'm sure this is one of the challenges of business in Kenya.
Mr. Raymond, of course, we are putting processes.
Very important for our listeners. You see, processes help with trust.
You see, so you don't need to, the processes have really helped. Like now we do a proper background check, must for every driver. Where does he come from? We used to call the previous employers.
Us.
Yeah. And another thing is get to know your team member better. You see, I cannot just sit up there. I need to come down on the ground once in a while.
And mingle with the people.
Mingle with them. In fact, I had stopped till I went for a leadership course with Sunny Bindra, the Fast Forward. That's where again now it was like a reminder. Oh, Shaffie, you have stopped doing this. I need to go down. I cannot be sitting in the office and leave it to the managers to give me the reports and everything is going well and all that. Once in a while, the CEO, the leader needs to step down and spend time with the people on the ground. Like those things help me, because I still do now. I go to port. Once in a while, I visit the yard. Just have even mkate and a soda with the drivers.
Yes.
Sit in the truck. Such things.
So it doesn't take away delegation. It's not that you're taking away delegation.
No. It is just like you're keeping in touch.
You're keeping in touch with your team.
With your team, which is I find it to be vital in any business.
Which is interesting, because one of the challenges we find is that founders don't want to let go at all. They want to do everything. They want to be, like in your case, they want to be the port clerk, they want to be the lorry driver. Basically, they've not gotten the strength to delegate because of the trust issue. So they want to do everything. What you're saying is trust them, but just be there to check that everything is going on correctly, and you also know what is going on in the business.
True. Edwin, that comes with systems and processes, and it works well.
So the key is that, systems and processes.
Systems and processes. It works well.
And so of course, a feedback loop, so that you also know.
Yeah. So when you look at your own business, so what would you say are your key things from our systems and processes that probably a competitor who has never thought about is not looked at?
I think that's a very difficult question.
or put it in another way. What are the key processes that must be put in place?
Yeah.
Because you're saying systems and processes are very important, but what are the key? What is it that every business should think this must be in place?
I think one of them is HR. So HR process has to have background checks.
HR process, the contracts.
The contracts.
Contracts, both with the clients and with your employees. There are some also not formalized processes, basically, I would say that I use technology a lot.
So you've embraced it?
Embraced it. I use it a lot for even operations. Like I don't need to know, or I don't need to call anyone. Let's say if the container has finished verification, the system, someone updates verification done. So my logistics team is already alert. The color changes on our software from blue to yellow, means it's ready for loading. And when it changes to yellow, an email goes to the logistics team that this container is ready for loading and they should send the truck. So those are the systems and processes which are according in my logistics field, that they do it. I don't need to call him, okay, this container is ready, go for loading. You see, it's all automated.
Was this manual at some point?
Yes, it was manual. It was
where you had to
pick up the phone, call him, do you have a truck? Our truck, which truck is free? You should go. Now it's more of organized.
How far back is this, when it was this manual? When did they change over to?
I think the changeover came in 2018, 2019 for COVID.
So for around 15 years, it was all manual.
Manual, yeah. It was all manual.
And then what did you do? You looked at a system out there? You asked somebody to develop it?
No, I looked for basically it's a project management software.
So it's a project management software,
which I'm using it
for logistics.
I have
modified
it.
Yes.
To suit my needs.
Yes.
It has all the pumps and whistles. It's called Smartsheet. So even when I started with Smartsheet, it was a very small company. Today they are already sponsoring F1, so you can know how they've grown. So yeah, even Smartsheet, when of course they could access, like even when I would have a problem, I would talk to my representative to help me with some things. He was even amazed at what we have done with the project management software, because that one was mainly, any project management like construction, or it was for basically any project management software, but we have made it for operations management software, and it works well.
You've tweaked it. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the digitalization we keep talking about. They had to do the manual first, understand how it works, and then see how that fits now into.
In fact, I'm very keen to just know, how did you settle at Smartsheet?
Oh, it is
the decision.
Yeah, just because you see, you're here doing manual. Then were you searching? Were you asking people what they use?
I bumped into it.
So you just bumped into it.
You see, they are called, Google has got those, it has those apps, like when you open the Google
they're all
space,
there, yes.
They tell you, the apps. So I just came across Smartsheet. At that time, the tagline for Smartsheet was, like as if it was Excel, Microsoft Excel with wings, or with, it had a boost. So, of course, all our data used to be in Google Sheets.
Yes, Microsoft. Yes.
So already
before it was Excel,
some form of automation.
Yeah. It was in Excel.
Yeah.
Then we moved to Google Sheets.
Even that, why that? Because it helps people to understand. Why did you move from Excel to Google Sheet?
Google Sheet, because we were on the Google Workspace.
Yes.
Okay.
So the entire team could see the sheet.
See, because otherwise the Excel sometimes sat on your own
Excel
machine.
We would be
emailing
to and fro.
Yeah.
So when we went onto Google Workspace.
So one technology is already Google Workspace.
Yeah. And then while I was just, looking for some, basically I was looking for a kind of an ERP or operation management and all that. And that's when I came across Smartsheet. They just launched. And that's when I went on board the Smartsheet, and it's just a matter of playing around, and you could see that it does wonders, like changing blue to, you can do that also by conditional formatting and all that. But this one goes one step extra, whereby apart from conditional formatting, it even sends
a message.
It triggers an email. Okay. Not only does it trigger an email, it even sends a Google chat to the team.
Yes.
So no one can say I did not see the email, but it even goes as it shows as a chat. And even I talked to Smartsheet that why can't you do something that it even goes as a WhatsApp?
Okay, you're taking it further. Okay.
Interesting. Of course, here we are talking with a Gen Z and Gen 3's, Generation 2 of a family business, Generation 3. They are all tech savvy. So that's one of the contribution they can bring to family businesses because they already have the possibility of playing around with technology.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. But what about your employees? How have you had to get them to embrace?
It's been a painful process to bring them on board. But
it's because they are resisting, or they don't lack the knowledge,
or they fear.
You see, it's I think change is difficult. But once you show them that it makes their life easier and it absolves them from blame, that's when now they get interested. Like I tell them, okay, you have done your verification, just put you have done your verification, that's it. Just post it. The next person will take over the releasing point, then the loading point. So you see, I could easily see, even just like I have a dashboard, I can see the movement now. You see, I know this is red, that's for Shaffie to handle. This is green.
So you have a dashboard?
I have a dashboard. I have dashboard for my operations, my finance, collections. So I have 3-4 dashboards I look at.
Which is very, very important because amongst us, we've been fighting a lot of founders to start having a dashboard so that they don't get bogged down on the details. They just wait for the reports and see them as a dashboard, which is very important as the way you're putting it. And that helps you even in decision making, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Because easily you can say, why is this container stayed for 3 days in verification? You see, like yesterday I saw it, today I saw it. Then it prompts me, does it need my intervention? So you tend to also call the clerk, does it need my intervention? Or is it the system's problem? Or is it some problem which, is not our fault, or it's the fault of the client or something, It helps us identify.
Okay. As we about to conclude, I'm curious to know why you came to do the family business program, especially you had already done or worked in the company for over a decade. What was it at that point that led you to come back to do the family business program?
Before I answer that question, Edwin, I did my KESRA course in 2020.
Which stands for?
Kenya School of Revenue Authority.
Okay.
I did the certificate course. So someone would ask me, 2020, you joined in 2002. That's 18 years of solid experience. Yeah. Why did you do this course?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was the oldest student and the only Muindi in the class. I think I was 48 years old. Oldest. The youngest, as far as I can remember, was 24, 25. And they were all declaration clerks and port clerks and such people, or students who had finished Form 4 and were doing it.
Yeah.
So I was in a class with such, I was the oldest, sincerely, like a 20-year gap. Serious. Why did I do it? It's just that I needed to know customs. What is it? There are some things, that I don't know. Like something called RMG. In my life, I would still call it RMG and not knowing what RMG stands for. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's a railway mounted gantry. I didn't know. I just thought some clever guy had just come and named it
the initials.
RMG or something. And I just peleka container ko RMG.
What does it stand for again?
Railway mounted gantry. So that's where you see that the gantry is on the like a rail track. You see, and that's where containers go, and then they are loaded onto the bogies.
So they go to RMG.
See, things like the methods of valuation. There are 6 methods of valuation. I did not know. A customs would tell me, nimeona hiyo bei kwa supermarket, and based on this price deductive method, this is the value you have to pay. I would just be quiet. But after doing this course, I knew that he is using method 2, while there is method 1 to be exhausted before you go to
Method 2.
Method 2.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, for anyone listening, if you are joining any business, yes, you join, attend the course for that the field you are going into. Although you have an MBA, it doesn't matter, but join, or even just do a certificate course online, but get to know that business. You will be surprised at the insights you get. These are just 2 insights I'm sharing off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So many which have today helped me elevate my business and understanding of how customs works. Now, coming to your question, why I joined the family business? Yes, of course, I knew I'm in a family business. I knew my kids are growing up. I know my kids are growing up, and things were now getting hazy. You see, so coming here also, like I even mentioned in my previous sessions with that I resigned thrice.
What?
Yes. So I really understood who am I. That was the most important. Okay. And also I understood who is my father. And it is also making me understand
who are your children?
Who are my children. I did not know about the family constitution. I came to learn it from SBS. See? And this is where now I need to work in hand with SBS now to help me chart one. You see, although I was in cohort 5, and I told Philip while working that it looks that I might repeat the family business program because we did it online.
Yeah.
And there's COVID. A big difference during COVID. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a big difference online and the physical.
Yeah.
So I'll come back.
Yeah, but you really hung on to one of the first module we teach, which is personal dynamics.
Thank you to you, Mr. Raymond.
That is able to understand why there are always all these possible tensions, and that understanding one another, understanding one's temperament, or also we use colors for those who have done other cohorts. It helps you to be able to know how then you can relate, how you can engage, because you have all these relationships that are blood, yet at the same time you have to deal with the family business issues. Or the business, let's say business issues run by family members.
Yeah. It's, I think, very good thing for my father that after the course I've never resigned. So Asante, maybe the listeners can give a round of applause.
Yes. And of course now you'll know what if your kids resign, why they are resigning.
Yeah.
Because you are once in that particular shoe.
Yeah.
And then of course there's a thing Raymond had mentioned before, which was governance as we conclude. I guess for us, the question is who oversees your action? Because governance is all about that. The reason why a company has a board of governors, board of directors, is to oversee the founder, the CEO.
Yeah.
Is there
to keep you in check?
Yeah. Are you moving towards that? Is there a plan to have that?
Yes. I want to start with an advisory board. And then, of course, move on to having a board sitting and helping me now take the business to another level. Yes, we need to be put in check. We need growth. We need professionals on board to help us, because there are so many things now. Also, we are like we are stagnating. See, because there's so much one can see.
Yeah.
But if it's a group, he can see further. Like, okay, Shaffie, I'm in the mix every day. I cannot see that maybe my business is deteriorating. I cannot see it because like it's just like a frog in the hot water.
The one that you keep boiling.
Keep boiling.
But it boils slowly.
Yeah, it boils slowly. I don't know. You see, maybe a nice financial consultant can tell me that, Shaffie, you are losing. By growing, you are losing. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just blind. I'm blinded by growth. Yeah. First thing is I've lost time. Now, I need someone to tell me, is it worth losing my time and the growth I'm having? Or was I making more money or more earning better when I had
better margins?
Better margins when I was just a small enterprise running from Vision Plaza.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the board we can help Strathmore Centre of Value Investing and CRAF in helping you set up the board. Strathmore SBS also has a program called Board Readiness, which they train people to be part of boards. So some of them can be part and parcel of your advisory board. They're alumni, just like you, who's an alumni of family business. So there are endless possibilities to help you with that.
Thank you. I learned something.
You've learned something. So we are concluding our session today. We're in episode what, Raymond? We've done so many episodes nowadays. We don't even. Or we wait to see it later on.
I'll wait to see it later. I'll excuse myself. I wasn't there
after your sabbatical. Thank you so much. The guest today, Bwana Shaffie of Superfast Forwarders.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So my name is Edwin Obonyo from Strathmore Centre of Value Investing.
And Raymond Mutura from the Centre for Research and Organizations, Work and Family.
Yes. So in case you need to contact any of us, Shaffie as well.
You can say something.
We can say something, right?
Yeah.
So Shaffie, say if people want to find you, where do they go? Superfast Forwarders.
They can find me on LinkedIn.
Okay. Shaffie Mithwani.
Shaffie Mithwani.
Mithwani. Okay. Mine is svi@strathmore.edu. That's my email. svi@strathmore.edu.
And crof@strathmore.edu. CROWF@strathmore.edu.
Yes. So in case you want to help with growth in terms of mindset, processes, and governance, and then from the SVI part, investors, money for growth, just reach out to those emails. Thank you so much and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.